I'm so excited for today's episode. This is legendary. We have our first National Women's Soccer League player with us today. We have Haley McCutcheon of the Orlando Pride on with us. So, welcome to the Soccer Ladder. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yay. So I keep saying we. So normally my son and I do this podcast together. And I screwed up thinking he had an off day today and I scheduled studio time and he's at school. So you have an amazing background. I was just like reading over like some of your stats. So you played at Nebraska. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I'm a Midwest girly, so
I am too. I grew up in Illinois and went to college in Iowa.
oh my gosh.
You were a two-time All Big Ten honoree.
Correct.
You were drafted 7th overall in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been with the Orlando Pride since 2022.
Yes.
You've won a National Women's Soccer League championship.
Casual highlight of my career.
With that, let's get into some questions. What did youth soccer look like for you? And how did you balance school, club, travel, and everything else? I mean, this is what I struggle with as a parent. So this is like, tell us your story and how you did it all.
Yeah, I have to credit a lot everything to my parents. I was doing ECNL, so I know youth soccer looks different now and there's other leagues, but I was in an ECNL league pretty early on, and so that is extensive travel. You're playing all year round, so it is pretty insane that my parents got me to every practice, every game. Um, so that definitely was early on something that I had to learn how to balance. But to be honest, I think I just loved it so much it made it easy.
Hi, Haley. We're so excited to have you on the soccer ladder. I have some questions for you. For young kids listening, what were the habits you developed early that helped you long term?
That is such a good question. So good job, Liam. I think early on, just focusing on the process. I mentioned in my last question that I just loved soccer, and so it was always fun for me to that's what I love about the game is that you can always work on something and get better. And so I think that that was just my mentality early on. And so if you can focus on um yeah, developing in different areas and not always just focused on the outcome of that. I think that's a really good mental skill to have. And then I think fitness is big. Something that maybe isn't the most fun or is seen as a punishment, but if early on you can develop that side of your game, I think that you can implement your skills a lot better because you're not as tired and your mind's not as tired. So that's a big one for me.
So speaking of tired, how important do you think like sleep and nutrition and everything outside of practices?
Especially sleep, I think is the most important thing. Even I'm 29 years old now, so I have to do all the things to make sure that I'm, you know, firing on all cylinders. But I think for the young ones, if you can really focus on your sleep, that's where you get all of your recovery. I can do a bunch of different recovery methods, but sleep, if I don't get good sleep, none of it really matters. So that's huge. And then fueling your body, all of these things are going to help you make those little gains to get you where you want to go. So they're massive.
I feel like that's like a theme, every guest that we've had on,
Mhm.
they say the same thing, kind of circling back, how important it is to like have fun and love the game. I feel like once that fun is gone, like it's probably all gonna go.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. And I think, some things are really out of your control. But yeah, if you love the game and you're willing to sacrifice a little bit, you're gonna have to. So yeah, you gotta love it. That's what I always say.
What made you choose your college program and how did that environment shape you?
So as we said, we're Midwest girlies. So I'm from Kansas City originally and had a lot of players that I knew of who were a little bit older than me go play soccer there, and so that kind of sparked my interest to the Nebraska program, and so we did a summer camp there, like a soccer camp, and I was, I think, a freshman in high school, and I went there and I learned more in a week than I had learned. It felt like my whole time in my life playing soccer, and so I just loved their approach to the process of getting better. I spoke about that a little bit early on, and so that is kind of the pull that they had on me, was because at the time, women's soccer wasn't really a super strong avenue to go pro. You had to go overseas or you had to do other things. And so that wasn't necessarily at the forefront of my mind. But just because I was like, I want to max out, I want to see where this can take me and I want to see how good I can get. And so I feel like Nebraska really helped me do that. And also the facilities are insane. Like, it's Lincoln, Nebraska. So they got to do something to get people to want to go there. So the facilities are beautiful, the fans are great. So yeah, those were all the things that made me want to go there.
I know Nebraska through their football program and how big the crowds are, but that's awesome that, like, it's the same way, with soccer.
Yeah, they built like a brand new stadium for us. So in my time there, I got to play in this like beautiful stadium. So the investment is definitely there. So we love that.
On the mental side of the game, how did you handle competing for minutes, adapting to coaching styles, and the pressure to perform?
Yeah, I think that's something that you never arrive at, right? Like you're always having to adapt and make sure that you are in a good headspace to be able to perform at your best. And like I mentioned, overcoming those things that are out of your control. So coaching out of your control, whether they decide to play you or not, those sort of things. But what you can control is your attitude and your effort. And so I think that when you I try, as much as I can, even when I am performing well, to just focus on those two things and make sure that I'm applying those, and then my talent can shine through. And then as far as, competing for minutes, I'm like a psycho, so I'm so competitive. I will not rest until I'm on that field playing like I think you have to have that competitive drive. But obviously again, you have to keep it in a healthy, what's in your control, that sort of thing. So I would just say that because it's sometimes you're not the coach's preference or you have things you need to work on, and it's important for you to be able to, yeah, drive the things that you can control.
I think that's so important for young kids to hear. My son Liam plays for Red Bulls Academy, and
Nice.
even just, changing coaches from year to year, and he's only 12, but it's still trying to like go through the change, and you might not
Hmm.
be, like you're saying, the coach's favorite. But
Right.
that's the beautiful thing with my son Liam is, he's, like, so even keel. He's like you, like what you're saying, he just goes
Hmm.
out and plays hard, and I hope,
Yeah.
like, he continues, just continue to focus on what you can.
Yeah, right. I had when I was at the Houston Dash before I was at Orlando, and I think during my there was one year I had 3 different coaches in a year. So it was, like, just crazy, and that was probably one of the hardest years that it's like you want to do what the coach wants you to do, but how do I still do the things that I'm good at? And so I think that also goes back to like focusing on what can you do to get better and knowing those things and having those things readily at the forefront of your mind so that you can also buy into that and not always just what the coach thinks of you, because you can't always change that. So
That's great for kids to hear too. Wow, but 3 in 1 year, that's a lot.
yeah, it's hard.
So, speaking of which, we've had, some of our guests say that, like, kids have to be open to, like, playing a different position. Have you encountered that as well? Like, where you started
Oh
out,
yeah.
like, here, and then the coach wants you there?
Yes. I think that is such a superpower, versatility. And yes, people will say that, it's important to specialize and have one position so that, you have those qualities that, again, coaches want to see. But I think that as you go higher up in level, sometimes you just like you want to be on the field. So where is the need? Where can I meet that need? And there have been times even in my professional career I was playing right back for probably 3 years at the dash because that's what we needed. And if you're able to understand the game and see the game from different points on the field, that's such a great asset. And so, especially when you're young, I would encourage players to play different positions and embrace that challenge because it's only going to make you a better soccer player overall.
Yeah, love hearing that. I'm gonna make sure Liam hears that part a couple of
Yes.
times.
Yes, definitely.
What was your welcome to the National Women's Soccer League moment?
Oh my gosh, I think I think there's a few things. Just my first preseason, it's like the level is so much higher, the pace is so much faster. It was definitely a humbling experience to have to adapt to that. But I think my welcome to the league moment was when it's like my first year, I'm playing against these legends that I've watched for my whole childhood watching soccer. Alex Morgan, Sydney Leroux, played against Julie Ertz, like all of these players that you're just like, how am I standing next to you on the field? I play with Marta now, she's my teammate, and I'm like, I watched you like when you were a teenager and you're still here and you're like my idol. So I think that just playing alongside those players and against those players has been I still have to kind of be like, this is so weird. Like, I can't believe I'm here. But
What has your time with the Orlando Pride taught you about the game and about yourself?
yeah, I think I got to the Pride coming off of a rough time in the club. They had, again, back to coaches, gone through a lot of different coaches. There was a lot of turmoil within the club, and so I was kind of there to be a part of that rebuild. And it was funny because I think it was maybe I think my 5th year in the league, and so on the dash, I had always been like a forever rookie, it felt like, and people just saw me as someone who got drafted there, and um, I could never kind of break that mold. And then I got to the Pride, and I was like one of the veteran players, and people are looking to me to lead, and so that was just a really kind of jarring experience. But I think my time on the Pride has allowed me to embrace that leadership role that I do have, and has also just really pushed me to embrace obviously the getting better and the soccer side of things and the chasing excellence, but also just enjoying my time and enjoying my teammates. And yeah, I think that I lost that for a little bit because I was so focused on, again, the playing time and the getting as good as I can and maxing out, and that's still very important to me, but you don't want to lose sight of the fun and also the things outside of soccer that you enjoy. So I think that the Pride has just taught me that when you're balanced overall, like your soccer is so much better and you can enjoy everything a lot more. So yeah, it's been a great time.
What do you like to do outside of soccer?
I'm not a coffee snob, but I love coffee. So like my teammates and I, we love
As I'm like drinking my latte right here.
same, same. But so we love to just explore different coffee shops. We have like a coffee club, we call it. So when we're on away trips, we'll grab a coffee on game day. We call it coffee club. So
Can I come be part of your club? I love this. I'm gonna just invite myself to your coffee club.
you are always invited. Please, if you are around, let us know.
I'm gonna make that happen. Oh my god, how cool.
I have a little doggy. He's a corgi, so he takes up a lot of my time off the field. He's so fun. So just like to do things, outside and yeah, just like explore and enjoy the places that we go. I think that soccer takes you so many cool places, and so instead of just being cooped up in your house or in the hotel, it's like go out and explore a little bit. It's fun. Yeah.
What's like your favorite city and favorite stadium?
Ooh, I think I just got asked this question, and I love playing anywhere in California. Like the they get great fans out there.
They
Yeah.
do. I gotta speak from the MLS side of it for the men's, but
Yeah.
I've been to, like, several LAFC games, and the
Uh-huh.
crowd and the people, I like they fill the stadium, the fans are so good. So I wonder, is it the same then for the women?
Yeah, yeah, they've done a great job with those clubs. I was just in San Jose for the championship, and um yeah, it's an amazing atmosphere out there, and they've really got the investment, from the fans and the community, and it's California weather, so you can't beat it.
So on the Pride, you're surrounded by high-level leaders. What's something you've learned from the locker room culture?
For example, our season last year where we won the Shield and the championship. I learned so much from that season because going back to those things that are in your control versus out of your control, our coach is so important, and obviously he's a big part of our success too, but the player unity and kind of that mentality of we need everybody. It's not just a buzzword, like it's so true. And so I think that especially last season and this season we had a great run, but last season it was like throughout everything we had full investment from every single player, whether they're disappointed about playing time, or people go through injuries and hard stuff. They're still such a huge part of what we did, and we couldn't have done it without them. And so I think that I've just learned the importance of being a good teammate and having those relationships off the field that drive your performance on the field. It's everything.
I would think especially as you get older, like, having everyone on the same page in a team, like, on a team is so important.
Yeah.
Liam right now is still young enough where they're kinda all over the map, but, I mean, have you ever been on a team, as a pro where it's still kinda like you don't have that bond?
Yeah, it's hard. I think you've probably heard, like, obviously not everybody has to be best friends. It's like that's kind of, as you get to the top level, people always say, "Well, you don't have to be best friends." Okay, well that's true, but you do have to have respect, and you do have to have like a common goal, like you're saying. And so I think that there have been teams or years where people are so unhappy and they're focusing on the things that they can't control, and maybe the competition between teammates, it gets strenuous. And so there's just a lot of dynamics that come into play that almost have to work perfectly for a team to really be bought in to the very end. And so I think that striving for that is a really important thing, and maybe you don't get it perfect every time, but I think that that is one of the most important things to team success, because like you said, most of us at this level have the talent, but what are the intangibles that we're bringing that are going to help our team be successful?
Okay, so we have to talk about the championship moment. What did it feel like to lift the trophy? Tell us
Oh
about
my
this.
gosh. It was so crazy. I feel like I still can't really believe everything that we did. Not only did we lift the trophy, but we were the best team throughout the season. We won the Shield. So I think it was just such a moment of relief because we had had our sights set. We want to win the Shield and we want to win the championship. And so to just do it was such a moment of relief for me because we had put.
I love hearing that. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
so real.
Yeah, it was just relief and like just joy. I think it's funny because, again, as I reflect on that time, it's so crazy what you can do if you set your goals high enough. Like, that was just such a lesson for me in goal setting that year because in the past it's like, okay, the pride's counted out. We were counted out all year, even as we were breaking records and doing amazing things. People say what they want to say, but it was just an amazing show of like our perseverance. And so again, to have all of that pay off, even all the hard things that we went through, it was just amazing. So I will never forget it.
Oh, I bet. Oh my gosh, and that's such an important word, perseverance. I That's one of my
Mhm.
favorite words. Might have been my word of the year last year, but anyhow, perseverance. I feel like that's so important for kids.
What separates players who think they want to go pro from the ones who actually make it?
Oh, I love that question because I think I've kind of half answered it already, but I got drafted in a class where a lot of girls didn't make it, or it's like you play one season and then you're done, you can't sustain it. And I think it's because you can't ever feel like you've arrived. Like you can't ever feel like you have reached your goal and now you don't have to work anymore. It's like the work is part of your lifestyle. And again, if you don't love that, then maybe it's not for you. But you have to kind of learn to love the process of getting better and never um being satisfied with where you're at. So I would say that is again something that's a little bit, it's tangible, but a little bit intangible, but it's all mental. Like it's something that you kind of have to have.
No, for sure. Like you can never get complacent, right? I would just think the mental side is just when you get to your level, I would just think and injury, right? If you can stay healthy, but that goes with taking care of yourself and
That's a big one too, injuries. And obviously, of course, some people it's out of your control. Like sometimes it's how you're built or something. But yeah, the more professional you can be, as early as you can be, the better likelihood you'll have to make it. So that's a good one too.
how important is patience in development, especially for kids who may not be starters yet?
That's really, really important. I again, it just goes, I feel like there's been a common thread throughout our conversation about, the process of getting better and improving. And, I think it's important to have goals, and it's important to not put everything into achieving that goal. For example, I I got drafted, pretty high, but before that, I hadn't been called into a national team camp. Like, I hadn't really gotten those accolades that maybe you feel like you need to achieve that goal. So if I would have focused on, oh, well, I didn't get that, and I didn't, achieve what I maybe wanted to, and gotten discouraged, then maybe I wouldn't have focused on again the things that are actually going to get me to where I want to go. And so I think it's really important to have that patience with yourself and with again those things, those choices that are being made by a coach or by, people that you you can only do what you can what you can do in a moment, and don't focus all on playing or starting right now, because if you do the right things, your time will come.
That applies to almost like anything. Your advice applies to almost anything in life, right? This is kind of off topic, but goes with our theme. Like, do you manifest or have mantras or, like we're talking about mindset and goal. Like, do you do all of that?
No, I wouldn't say like manifest, but I do think I got a life coach last year, and it's been like the coolest thing ever. And it's more focusing on like a way of being is what we would say. So, for example, w- I'll do a little mini thing, but like we focus usually as a society on what do I need to do to have what I want to have so that I can be who I want to be. And it's like we've kind of flip flopped that. Who do I need to be to have to do what I want to do to have what I want to have? So it's like it starts with your being. And so I think for me, I focused on how can I be, or who am I? Who do I want to be? So as far as I focus on, with my soccer, I want to be bold, I want to be confident, I want to be, all of those things. And so again, it really goes, strips it all back. It's not about the the thing that you get at the end. It's about the process and who you are as a person along the way. So,
I mean, my son's only 12, Liam's only 12, but
mhm.
I actually started him with a life coach. He's a former MLS player, amazing guy,
Wow.
but I feel like even at 12 in this age and in the academy, there's so much stress and pressure.
Yes.
And even he goes over just like navigating like life in general and the mindset and like
That's amazing that you got him that mom of the year.
thank you. I mean, I don't think I could have handled it at 12.
No, it's intense now. It's really intense, and I think it's important that you did that because, kiddos nowadays, I'm like, how do you not? And Liam will be great because he has balance, it sounds like, and he has you as a mom, but just burnout and becoming about more than just having fun and playing a game. So it's hard now for kiddos.
Okay, so you're part of a generation pushing the women's game forward. What changes are you most excited to see?
I am most excited, and I think we've made a lot of progress with this, but I'm most excited for people to just have more access to watching us because I think every time someone comes to a game and they've never been to a game before, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." But it's just getting people through the door that is the challenge. And so I'm excited for, the TV deals that are happening and the things that are going to get people to get eyes on us, because I think from there it will continue to grow. And so our league is doing a lot to, yeah, get our games on the screens and get people in seats, watching us. And I think that that is huge. So I'm pumped to see that grow even more.
Me too. Let's do it. Let's go.
Starting with this, yes.
Liam was so bummed. He's like, Mom, we have our first National Women's Soccer League player, and I have to go to school. I'm like, Yes, you do. What responsibility do you feel as a woman in the pro game, especially knowing how many young girls and boys are watching you?
I definitely feel like with everything going on, like we were just talking about that Liam's going through, and kiddos have so much pressure on themselves, with everything that they have at their fingertips even like that's just different now. And so I feel a heavy responsibility to, especially personally, to make sure that kids know that it's not about, the glitz and the glam. It's about being on a team. It's about enjoying, like I said, your teammates and being a part of something bigger than yourself. And so I feel, a heavy responsibility to have kiddos not feel like it's all on them, and also to give them an outlet. I think that, we have so many boys and girls that come to our games, and having role models that they can look up to, that they can again see, oh, maybe I can do that one day, I just think is the coolest thing because I didn't have that. And so I feel very humbled and proud to be able to hopefully contribute to someone's story and see what they can do. So it's very exciting.
You definitely are. And even to my son, who's like, oh my God, like such a big
Yeah.
deal. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so sad we ran out of time. I want to come to a game and join the coffee club.
Oh, you're already in. Yes. You're in.
Thank you so much. I loved all your insights.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing, and this is super important stuff to talk about. So, thanks for giving people an opportunity to listen.
Thank you. And hopefully, we have the chance to meet one day soon.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.